Now, News Central's correspondent Umaru Kirawa, who covered the Maiduguri flooding, joins me to give an update. Umaru, can you start by giving us a sense of the scale of destruction caused by the flooding in Maiduguri?
Well, it's a massive one, despite the fact that it's some selected communities or selected areas within Maiduguri metropolis and, of course, Jere. Areas like Bulunkutu, Abujan Talakawa, the Zajeri, and of course along the Bagarot area, and then the Memalari military barracks area too. It was really affected. So many houses were submerged by the heavy downpour, and of course many people had to leave their homes in search for safer places to pass the night, and hospitals were also affected, educational facilities, and even police station, the one at the Bagarot, was submerged by water, and so many infrastructure were submerged, and including graveyard, the Zajeri graveyard, which we also featured in the report. It was really affected, but community members had to come in to help cover or rather reconstruct some parts of the graveyard.
All right, now we understand that several families have been displaced, of course. How are the affected residents coping right now, and what kind of shelter or relief are they receiving?
Well, for now, there is no anything like camp for displaced persons, but both naturally, you know, the African social system, or rather African support system, whereby when something affects your neighbor, you had no any other option but to support him, provides alternative shelter for them. For now, people are really finding shelter in their neighborhoods, in neighboring areas, in houses of neighbors, and so on and so forth, which are not affected by the flood. But for now, this is what is happening. They are passing the night mostly in the houses of neighbor because most of the houses have been submerged by the flood.
Now, you mentioned something that was quite shocking, right? And it has to do with the fact that the flooding has exposed the graves. Can you describe what happened in those areas and how the communities are responding to that?
Well, it was quite unfortunate that many graves were exposed, particularly at the Zajeri in Bulunkutu to Bolori 2 area, whereby the community members had to come in terms of covering or rather reconstructing some of the affected graves by putting sands, and of course one of the special advisors to the governor also donated 500,000 naira to help the community to buy sands from some locations so that they can cover up some of the graves. But really, the flood waters has really affected the graveyard, and of course, even the fencing of the graveyard was, some part of the fencing was down, and people are very scared with regard to what will be the impact of that happening at the graveyard, because they don't know what will come out of the waters, because it's virtually everywhere. It's in the community and it's in the graveyard, and the water is mixed. So you don't, there is serious health needs and then serious concern which the community are raising, and they are trying their best to cover the place to ensure that everything moves normal.
Now, what were the key infrastructural damages observed? You know, were there roads, bridges, or public facilities severely impacted?
Yeah, both natural, when flood comes and then people even had to leave their homes, but natural, there will be destructions. Like I've said earlier, so many houses have been submerged, so many houses have been destroyed. the police were able to give, the police issued a statement saying 8 buildings collapsed, but so far nobody can give the actual number of infrastructure that has been damaged as a result of the heavy downpour that destroyed so many infrastructure within the metropolis. But largely, houses were destroyed, hospital, school, including police station, was submerged, and so many other infrastructure, including the graveyard that was badly affected by the flood.
Now, I know when it comes to flooding, sometimes, we have our meteorological agencies, warn about this, foreseen disasters. In this situation, would you say that the residents expected this, or would you say that it took everyone by surprise?
Well, it's two sides. First, some residents expected this because it looks like a seasonal thing that usually comes and goes. Like one of the residents I interviewed who spoke to us, he told us that this is something that even their forefathers, their fathers used to experience. As such, it's something like normal to them. And to others, who are new to Maiduguri, and to others who are also new in some areas, it's surprising because it's maybe for the first time and so on and so forth. But largely, the issue here is two. First, there is issue of nonchalant attitude of residents by dumping refuse in drainage system. And there is also the issue of poor drainage system within the metropolis. Because some of the drainage system, yes, the state government is quite doing very well in terms of construction of roads and the drainage. But unfortunately, the drainage system mostly are not connected or linked to water channel, to river, or there is no proper channeling of the drainage system. As such, when the water come, it overflows and then it's piped back to the community. Thereby causing serious problem to the community and of course the government. And in this case, like some of the experts that we interviewed, they said there is the need for the government to really work out a modern drainage system for the entire Maiduguri and Jere, since it's the nerve center of Borno State. There is the need on the government to establish a modern drainage system, connect all the drainage system. Where there is the need, they should establish an agency that will be in charge of this course. And of course, there is the need to also sensitize residents and if there is need, penalize certain communities or defaulting communities that engage in improper waste disposal, whereby there is trash bin and some of them usually dump their trash beside the bin instead of the bin, and so on and so forth. And also the trash bin, also there are other communities that do not even have. As such, the government really need to provide more trash bins so that these things can be done properly, and the agency charged with the responsibility of the desilting of drainage, and of course, particularly the Borno State Environmental Protection Agency really need to work out modalities on regular evacuation of waste at different spots. And I mean, waste now are turned to wealth. There is the need to really work out modalities to turn this waste to wealth.
All right, thank you so much, Umaru, for giving us updates on the flooding happening in Maiduguri.